Hey everybody, we are going to be going over the practice photoelectron spectroscopy questions, and then if you still want additional practice after this, you can take the practice understanding check to make sure that you have everything figured out. So this is the PES diagram for sodium. If we find sodium is atomic number 11, so it has 11 electrons. And if we want to label these peaks, remember that the highest energy peak is going to be the one that has the location closest to the nucleus. So the peak that's right over 100 is closest to the nucleus. And then what we need to do is we need to figure out the relative sizes. Now hopefully you have been catching on that the first peak that's closest to the nucleus pretty much always contains 2 electrons. That makes our life easy because then anything that's the same size also has 2 electrons. So these first 2 peaks have 2 electrons. This next peak that represents the next subshell is almost triple the height, so that means we have 6 electrons, and then this little peak here, our furthest out peak, that is going to be half the height, so it contains 1 electron. Okay, hopefully you're kind of getting the hang of these. If you find yourself having trouble, like I said, pop into a Google Meet and we can go over them. Here is practice number 2. Practice number 2 is sulfur. Let us find sulfur on the periodic table. Sulfur is atomic number 16, which means it has 16 electrons. Okay, so we have 16 electrons. First peak on here that's closest to the nucleus is going to be this guy right here. So again, highest energy value has the closest peak to the nucleus, and that one, other than in hydrogen, has 2 electrons in its first peak. So I have 2 electrons here. This second peak is the same height, so it has 2 electrons, and the fourth peak actually has 2 electrons in it because it's the same height. So these all have the same number of electrons in them. This third peak here is triple the height, so it's 6 electrons, and then this last peak here is just about double the height, so it has 4 electrons. Okay, now one of the things that I'm hoping that you kind of catch on to, and we'll see if I can get these both on here. These look pretty similar. If you look at the PES diagrams for sodium and for sulfur, they are in the same period as each other, and they start off pretty much the same. 2 electrons, 2 electrons, 2, 2, see the same, 6, 6, and then they start to differ a little bit. And what we're going to be getting into in our next lesson on the second day of electron configuration and PES diagrams is the patterns that you predict. So if you've noticed some patterns, congratulations, you are on the right track, and if not, we will get you there. If you find yourself still stuck on these, give yourself a chance to try the understanding check. If you're still stuck after that, make sure you talk to one of us in a Google Meet. Good luck.